needs at least somebody to be engaged.
Okay. Good afternoon, Pit Dog members. Our webinar today is introducing NetSuite Service Tier Dashboard, Smarter Account Management. Presenting is our very own Mark Kreminski. He's our NetSuite Support Manager at Grossman, Yanak, and Ford. So, Mark, you may begin anytime you're ready. And I'll be on mute, but I'll be here listening in and ready to go if we need it, right?
Yep. And hold on 1 second.
Yeah, I'll let you know when your screen's up. There you go. I see it. Looks good.
Okay. All right. So as Rhonda said, we're going to be discussing the service tier dashboards. What the service tier dashboard is, it's a new feature that NetSuite has added. Some of you may be familiar with viewing the billing information on NetSuite. This is more of a kind of a consolidated version of that, and it lets you know when you're approaching the limits that NetSuite has put in place for your service tier. So we're going to go through that. Some of you, if you're getting close to a renewal or if you're getting close to any of these limits, your NetSuite representative may have contacted you already about upgrading to a new service tier. So this webinar will give you some examples of what to look for beforehand, and you can check this as often as you like. There's also a link to go in for more details to view your billing details the old way right from here. So with that, we'll get started here. Just trying to find my mouse. So these are the service tier dashboards. So here's your standard, premium, enterprise, and ultimate. And these are kind of what your limits are. So there's your users, your file storage, and your monthly transaction lines. The two that you can really affect easily and you can make modifications to would be your users and your file storage. And we'll go into that a little more detail as we move through this. But as you approach these limits, NetSuite may reach out to you. It depends on really on who your rep is and how close you are, and really the time of the year as well. So some of our clients have been reached out to as they're approaching their renewals. And we'll get into things that you can do to kind of alleviate some of these or move down within your tier. So these are the service tiers. This is just a more of an explanation of what these tiers are and who the general users are. So a standard tier are for small to medium-sized businesses. Limited concurrency, so your concurrency would be tied to your integrations and your processes that are running behind the scenes. The premium tier is for larger companies that need more storage or more users, and then more integrations and scheduled scripts can run. So with the standard tier, you can run one scheduled script at a time. As you get more the Suite Cloud Plus support, you can try and have more scripts run at the same time, as well as more integrations. The enterprise tier, so these would be your larger companies. You need high concurrency. You need to process lots of records at the same time, and then you need lots of storage within your account. Ultimate tier is the maximum that they have. You can purchase additional concurrency and licenses for that concurrency. And I believe, at least as of a few years ago, when the company I was at was on the ultimate tier, it also existed on its own server. So you had your own instance of NetSuite, as opposed to the shared servers that the other tiers possess. So the service tier dashboard in NetSuite, it gives you a snapshot, and I believe it's computed nightly. And it just helps you monitor these. It's very simple. It has, I'll show an example in just a second here. But it basically just shows where you're at, what the target is, and whether it gives you little warnings whether you're approaching or exceeding those targets. And so you can access this in your NetSuite account if you have the administrator access. If you go to Setup, Company, and then there's a link for the Service Tier Dashboard under that. It's kind of near the bottom, right above where the link for billing information is. And so for each of the key metrics, there's basically, like I said, there's 3 kind of data points. So there's current, which is your current usage. So how many users you have, how big is your file cabinet, how many transaction lines you have. Your service tier limit, and that'll give you what the maximum limit is, which I showed on the previous slide. And then the percentage of your service tier limit. In addition, there's some little icons. Like I said, there's the warning icons and the likewise. So, sorry. Oh, you got to go back. 1 second. So here's an example, and this is kind of the definitions of what makes up these service tiers. So there's your file cabinet size. So this is the total storage used in your file cabinet. This doesn't include the records in your NetSuite, which is your total account, which is taken into account in your total account size. This is just files that are in your file cabinet. Your fully licensed users, and those are the number of full access users that are provisioned to your account. So each of these tier limits have a maximum number of full access users that you can have in NetSuite. So there are ways around this, and I'll talk about those in a little bit. If you're approaching the limit for full access, full license users, you can use different NetSuite. You can consider using different NetSuite license types. This is only for full access users. So if a user only has the Employer Center, this doesn't count against those limits. And there's some other NetSuite has rolled out in the last year or so. They've rolled out some other user types, and those also do not count as full access users. Your monthly transaction lines. So these are the total transaction lines for the previous month, and then your average monthly transaction line. So this is your rolling 6-month average. And then your Suite Cloud Plus licenses. So the number of Suite Cloud Plus licenses that you have on your account. So NetSuite allows you to buy additional Suite Cloud Plus licenses depending on what tier you're on. You get one out of the box, but you can buy additional ones. The limit per tier is the limit they're allowing you to purchase above that, the standard one that they give you. So depending on the tier, you can purchase more or less. So you can't be on the basic tier basically, and you can't say, well, we're doing a lot of integrations, so we want to buy 5 additional licenses, but we still only have 10 users. They'll make you upgrade if you want to buy those additional licenses, and the limits are on the tier basis. So here's a look. You'll get a banner on your screen on your tier dashboard if you're over the limit. But you'll also see that your status is either under the limit, near the limit, or over the limit. So NetSuite, I think we had some clients that NetSuite started contacting them when they were their storage of their file cabinet was exceeded the 80. So it wasn't at 100% yet, but it was at the 80% level, and they started getting notifications from NetSuite or communications from NetSuite telling them that they were going to need to upgrade to the next highest tier. This just shows you how to access the information. So under Setup, Company, and then down here, the Service Tier Dashboard. You can also, there's a link for view the billing information. There's also on the dashboard itself, there is a link for viewing the billing information. So you can go in depth and see information that, in addition to what's on the Service Tier Dashboard, there may be other things within your account that you can take a look at. this is an example from a test account of a service tier dashboard. As you can see, this one is all within compliance and under limits, but this is what you'll see when you go to that service tier dashboard. So you'll see the monthly transaction lines, the average transaction lines, your suite plus licenses, full license users, and your file cabinet size. So this is your current, this is the service tier limit, and then your percentage of that limit. And then you can see there's a link to view the billing information. So this is a healthy account. So what to do when you're approaching the limits? First thing I recommend is checking these limits at least on a monthly basis. And as you see yourself approaching them further, I would check them more regularly. You may be able to, if you do need to upgrade to a new tier, you may be able to contact your rep and get a better deal than if they're contacting you and forcing you to upgrade. So analyze the usage, kind of depending on which metric you're looking at. You can analyze the usage of that tier. So for example, if you look and you're at 99 users and your limit is 100, that's when you can start looking at it and say, okay, are there extra users in their system that we've left active and just haven't shut off for some reason? Are there duplicate users? Do all of these users need a full access user license? In a lot of cases that may not be the case. Like you might not need all of those full access users. You can reduce the optimize your resources, so you can reduce the transaction line count by batching or streamlining kind of your processes that are creating those transaction lines. And then you can also, which isn't on here, but you can also clean up your sandbox. And on the next slide, I'll kind of go through some of that. We at GYF, we've put together some tools that help us and can help you to clean up that account, clean up your file system, either delete it or save it off to a third-party site, or to your own internal network. So it would get rid of those files and shrink down your file cabinet. NetSuite keeps everything in the file cabinet, so they never really do a cleanup. So one of the things I saw at a previous company was we were getting lots of emails we used NetSuite cases for both internal and external case support. And we noticed that all those links at the bottom of your email, lots of the links, especially from our internal team, there was a link for LinkedIn, there was a link for our YouTube page, there was a link for our Facebook page. All of those little images, they were all small, but every time a case came in through an email, all those images got added to the file cabinet. So we had hundreds of thousands of these basically 1 kilobyte images that were not useful, right? They didn't give any information, they didn't help, but they were all stored within that sandbox. But you also see, especially if you use support management within NetSuite, if you're sending files to your customer, or if they're sending files to you, either internal customers or external customers, lots of time those files can be fairly large. So if you're sending a PDF over, if you're sending screenshots or videos over, those can get large. And after a certain point in time, they're no longer useful. You no longer might not even have the case anymore within your system if you've cleaned up the case, but those files will still exist. So you can clean those up as well. And we can assist with that. At the last resort is you may need to upgrade your tier. So especially if you need more users or more Suite Cloud Plus licenses, you may at some point need to actually do upgrade your tier. So at that point, you can contact your NetSuite rep and work out the best terms for you. See if they'll get some discounts. Depending on when you contact them, it may be end of the quarter, end of the year. You probably have a better chance of that. And then always, if you have your sandbox, use your sandbox to test these optimizations before applying them to production. This relates more to the transaction lines and some of the things for your user access. And then this is the final slide I have, and this is just basically how we can assist. So we can help you monitor and clean up your inactive or duplicate users. Also look at your user with you, work with you to kind of figure out what user license is the correct license for your for all of your users or for your user base. So that's the second point is, yeah, consider other license types other than full access users. Not only do the other license types not consume a user license, they don't count against your full access user list, and they're cheaper. So you can get some of the other user license types. They sell them, some of them they sell within bundles, so 5 users, but the price per user license is, for all of them, is cheaper than your full access user. Your full access user is going to be your most expensive user. If your users are only creating expense reports, employee centered license will work great for that, and that's significantly cheaper than a full access user. It would depend on your account and what discounts you get and things like that, but it's definitely going to be cheaper than your full access user. We can assist with cleaning up unused files in your file cabinet, so you can either archive them to a offline source. We can work with you to do that, or you can just identify which files need to be deleted and delete them. Within NetSuite, there's not really an easy way to do this natively, but we built out some solutions that we consider a package solution that we can assist you with if that's the case. Another option is to conduct a NetSuite health check. So this is where we would come in and assist you with monitoring basically the health and usage of your system. In addition to the things that are on the service tier dashboard, it helps you make sure you're getting the most out of your NetSuite subscription. So there may be things that you originally purchased in your original subscription that you're no longer, that either you never used, we've seen that to be the case, or you're no longer using. This will also help with identifying some choke points with integrations, as well as identifying things that you could use to improve your NetSuite experience. So there may be some modules and tools within NetSuite that you've already paid for and you're not using, and you could be using, and it would save you both time and get the most out of your investment. Or there may be new things that NetSuite's released since your go live date that you might not be aware of that could not necessarily save you money, but could save you time. Or make processes easier, or incorporate processes into NetSuite that you don't currently use. So that's all I have for these slides. But if there's any questions, I would be happy to answer them. Or if I can't answer them, I'm sure somebody on the team can.
Any questions, anybody? Nope. Doesn't sound like it. Well, you can always email too. If you think of something afterwards, just send, the contact Pitnug or my regular email, Rothert@GYF, or Mark. Doesn't matter. We'll respond to anything.
And we'll be scheduling, we're having internal discussions right now, but we'll be scheduling the next full Pitnug meeting
right.
Probably sometime in late October.
Yeah. It'll be fully remote. We're not going to do in person for this one, but we'll have it. Yeah. Look for an email soon. We just have to nail down a date and some topics, but if you have any ideas of topics you want us to include, shoot me an email. If not, I think that's going to be the end of our meeting, right? Anyone?
Yep.
Going
and
once,
if you have
going
any
twice?
Questions or topics or information, feel free to visit the LinkedIn Pitnug page and post on there. We post articles on a semi-regular basis, and we look forward to other people contributing besides just us. Feel free to contribute, ask questions, talk to each other. So
Yeah.
Okay.
thank you very much.
Thanks, everyone. Have a good afternoon. Bye.
Have a good afternoon, everyone.